Ahlan wa sahlan. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Amu Yum Yum, the podcast. This will be a reoccurring uh, segment. Is that when something that is important, touching public fear, safety, touching some important issue, then we'll come on and then we'll elaborate on certain things in order to get the Islamic perspective out front, inshallah ta'ala. In a recent interview by Mohammed Hijab, he conducted an interview with someone that refers to themselves as a trans hijabi. Okay, as a trans hijabi, we need to, from the beginning, we need to stop saying trans because trans, as like transportation, you go from one point to another point. In order for a person to move from a male to a female or vice versa, uh, there is a lot of biological changes that need to happen. These changes are not within the sphere or the ability of humans, scientists, doctors, what have you. So therefore, we need to stop saying trans. You can only appear as female. You can appear as male, but biologically, you cannot change biology. So with the interview, I'm only critiquing points of the interview itself. I'm not critiquing the decision to have the interview. I'm not critiquing the decision to have the interview like some have. I'm critiquing only certain points in the interview, inshallah, bidnillah ta'ala, for the benefit of our ummah and maybe even non-Muslims that are listening. Okay. So the interview itself was conducted very well, mashallah. It was conducted professionally. He opens with a general taslim, which is allowed, opened with a general taslim, but did not, alhamdulillah, greet his guest directly. And I find it within the sunnah, I'm not that knowledgeable of the deen, but I find it within the sunnah that you can withhold your taslim for fasid. You know, if the person is open fasik, you can withhold your taslim. And there's even evidence of boycotting people that are open sinners. There's an evidence to boycott them even. So I love the fact that he did not give a direct taslim. He did not say assalamu alaikum to you, to the guest. So I like that part. At 27 seconds, he calls the guest Alia. Now I don't know if the guest assumed the name Alia uh, as a derivative of the name Ali. I'm not sure what was the original name, but uh, he says, Alia, how are you? Now, to me, this is very, very dangerous. Okay, it's very, very dangerous because you're addressing someone by a feminine attribute that is known. Now, we know in the English vernacular, there are androgynous attributes. Like, for instance, Jesse. Jesse doesn't signify man or woman. A woman can be Jesse with an I or an E, I guess, and the man usually assumes the E. The name Don, D-O-N for males, D-A-W-N for females. So these are androgynous names. Bobby. Usually women will assume the name Bobby with an I, and men would assume the name Bobby with a Y. So the reason I'm saying this is because Bil Arabi, if you say Alia, if you call a dude Khadija, if you call her, this is not allowed. Subhanallah, this is not allowed to do so. It was done, okay, and there are two opinions. I'd like to say schools of thought, right? There are two opinions with this. Some say don't buy in to the madness. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I can't pronounce the first name Hieu. I can't pronounce it, so I'll just say walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu upon you and Khalid ibn Eric. Okay, so the first opinion is don't buy in. Don't buy in. Means do not bend to their side and call them by feminine attributes when they are indeed men. Okay. Number two, second opinion. Although gender cannot be changed, a person has the right to choose any name that they like. Okay. That's the second opinion. That's why some say that I'll call Robert Shapiro. He said that I'll call Bruce Jenner Caitlyn because you can change your name, but you can't change your gender. And some say don't even entertain calling them by feminine attributes. Okay. At a minute and 25 seconds, he gives his guest permission to curse. Now, here comes the dilemma. if you recognize your guest, I'm gonna say female imitator. I can't say trans. It's not within my deen to say trans. Okay, so your female imitator, if you recognize that person as a Muslim, then you are giving them to a permission to do something that Allah and His Messenger said they cannot do, which is curse, which is used foul language. Okay, you're giving them a permission to do something that Allah and His Messenger say they cannot do. Okay, so we really shouldn't do this. We really shouldn't do this. So you should have or he should have not given his female imitating guest permission to curse. And that guest took liberties after that. And said some quite foul and disgusting language that was used. Okay, at 3 minutes and 15 seconds, there was some lighthearted ribbing, like some giggling, some ribbing that happened at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. If you want to review it, and like I was explaining at another occasion, I think yesterday, was talking about how feminine qualities tend to relax a man. Okay, feminine qualities balance out a man, tend to relax a man. It puts a man in a tranquil state. Their voices, so on and so forth, their mannerisms, their gait, their manner of walking tends to put us in a relaxed state. We as men love women. Okay, so when someone is imitating a woman, and I would very well admit that I've seen, as Muhammad said, in the last days, you won't be able to tell the male from the female. And I've seen some males that turned out they were males later on. They had, whether the body was artificially altered, there was a shape there. Makeup. You can make a mud dog look like a beauty queen with makeup. Makeup is khuda, is deception. So with that being said, yes, the guest may have looked like a female Pakistani, but not one of the better, beautiful Pakistanis that I know. If it would have been a woman, but nevertheless, the female traits, the look of a female, the walk of a female tends to relax the man, and you'll find yourself giggling when you shouldn't have giggled. You find yourself too relaxed, and this is natural. So limiting interaction could be a good thing. Case in point, when they got so relaxed, the guest started to say men have a G spot. Now I don't know what the G means. I don't know what the G and G spot means. Not even for a woman, I don't know what the G means. I never even looked into it or bothered with it. But talking about the prostate. Talking about the prostate, I think that's what the guest was talking about, which was the prostate, and he giggled and joked at Mohammed Hijab, giggled and joked that at the age of 19, Mohammed Hijab admitted hearing about a G spot in a man. Okay, and he said that he joked with Mohammed Hijab, saying that, oh, you probably went home and got a cucumber. You probably went home and got a cucumber. Now this is insulting to a man, Muslim or not. This is insulting to a man, Muslim or not. But because the discussion was so lighthearted, I'm not saying it should have been rude. Dawah is always on the table, okay, until the deathbed of any individual, okay. But you can't make it so lighthearted that they feel that they can say the D word, the other word for penis, the D word, that they can say, oh, you probably went home and got a cucumber. And stuff like that. And I'll leave it to your imagination what he was implying that Mohammed Hijab was doing with the cucumber. I'll leave it to your imagination. I don't want to get too vulgar, with that, too detailed with that. So at 8 minutes, the way I follow Islam is what the guest said, the way I follow Islam. And this was something that was, reiterated throughout the discussion. I like to say that not every matter in Islam is open to interpretation. So there's no way that you follow Islam different than the Islam that was revealed. What was the deen then is the deen now. What was not the deen then is not the deen now. And like, again, not every matter is open to interpretation. Even there is a adilla qat'iyya, which is an evidence that has one meaning, one specific meaning. Like when Allah Ta'ala says pray. Pray is what... pray means pray. Fast means fast. There's no interpretation of pray. Pray means this. Fast means that. No, it means what it means. And then you have adilla dhaniyya, which are evidences that are open to interpretation. They can be interpreted multiple ways even. So when it comes to this issue of transgender, a man becoming a woman becoming a man, or what have you, this is not something that falls under adilla dhaniya when it comes to the text of the evidences. So, and I know this individual is not mufassir Quran, they're not turjuman al Quran, so therefore they are not qualified to interpret Quran any other way. And the brother did mention, Muhammad Hijab did mention that none of the classic mufassirin interpreted the way you are interpreting. Okay, he mentioned that. So throughout the video, the guest kept the trans hijabi, in quotation marks, kept offering its own interpretation of the Islamic text. And I think maybe Muhammad Hijab should have been more forceful, like, hey, we can't do that. You know, we can't do that. You can't continue to offer your interpretation because I have a duty, I have a responsibility to my viewers, my subscribers. I have a responsibility and a duty to my subscribers that I don't let them experience, someone freely interpreting, because these only the adilla dhaniya can be interpreted, and those interpretations, just as ulama will tell you straight off the rip, there are no new tafsir. There are no new tafsir. There's no such thing as in 2021 a scholar saying, "Oh, now I understand that ayat." There's no such thing. There's no new tafsir. And the brother is saying Muhammad Hijab also said in a live Instagram that that the person in question is kafir, regardless, should not be identified as a believer. But see, on the show, see that is the issue. On the show itself, on the show itself, uh, uh, did not. I mean, you don't have to call the person kafir on the show, but at the end of the show, remember Muhammad Hijab says, because you identify as Muslim, because you identify as Muslim, I'm going to offer you or allow you certain courtesies. Or I don't remember the exact wording, but the nature of the discussion was, because you call yourself a Muslim, then we will continue dialogue. We will, I will offer you certain courtesies and what have you. On the show, I think it should have been said that, indulging in this lifestyle means that you are not indeed a Muslim, if that's the opinion. Okay, if that's the opinion, I say dawah should be continued. It's just that I'm mentioning certain points that probably could have been done a different way or altered, and maybe the next dude in the hijab that goes on the show, maybe these points can be taken. Adino nasiha, our deen is sincere advice, inshallah ta'ala. At 36 minutes, 10 seconds, the guy in a scarf said, "Do you consider me man or woman?" Listen to this. The guy said, "Do you consider me man or woman?" Okay? And Muhammad Hijab says, "My personal definition." See, this is the problem. We don't have a personal definition of what's a man and a woman. And it says in Quran, the male is not like the female. Okay? The male is not like the female. So we don't have a personal definition. Say, by Islam, because of my deen, my aqidah, I cannot refer to you. I am forbidden to refer to you as a woman. Okay, that was better to have been said than to say that my personal the onus was put on personal. The inflection even was, my personal opinion is that you are XY. No, that's biological. The dude is XY. Biologically. Your opinion didn't make him a male, biology itself, the creation, the way Allah Ta'ala created him, made him male. Okay, so that was one thing. Okay, at 37 minutes and 7 seconds, he says, you have feminine characteristics, and I would say it's better to omit in a professional interview like this. I think it's better not, tense up a little bit if you may. Don't be overly tense, but don't be so complimentary. It's better to omit any type of praise or complimentary gestures. It's better to omit those, because let's not talk about how feminine this person is. This person is on estrogen. Okay, this person is contemplating surgery. Has a GoFundMe to chop, snip, tuck, flip. Whatever they're gonna do. So again, I don't think there should be any complimentary gestures regarding it. Al-wala wal-bara, the loyalty and disassociation for Allah Ta'ala's sake, loving and hating for the sake of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. It doesn't mean that we won't offer common courtesies, but we cannot compliment what Allah Ta'ala hates. Okay. Nevertheless, Muhammad Sallam talked about that any man resembling feminine traits of a woman, put them out of your home. You know what I'm saying? You have to expel them from your home, so on and so forth. So at 38 minutes and 35 seconds, starting there and going on for a few more seconds, a minute or so, you can all review it. And that's why I'm giving you timestamps. It was agreed to use feminine pronouns, she, her. What would you refer to me as? What would you call me then? Is what the dude said. What would you call me? Mohammed Hijab said, what would you like me to call you? He says, she, her. Refer to me in the pronoun of she, her, and he agreed to do so. Well, see, again, this is a aqidah issue. It's an aqidah issue. You can't refer to a whole dude. I don't care about the makeup, the feminine traits, the estrogen that's being taken. You cannot refer to a whole dude as she, her. These are not proper pronouns for a man. These are not proper pronouns for a man. So if there's a next guest, maybe you won't use those, or you shouldn't use those pronouns. At 49:13, it's one of the last things I'll mention. There was a penis question. Okay, do you have a penis? And the guest said that I'm a minor. My penis is confidential because I'm a minor. And that was the response. And I would say that if you're such a minor, why you only are talking about dudes' G-spots and implying the brother went home with a cucumber, which is very disrespectful. Why don't you have, did your parent or guardian sign off for your minor self to be on this podcast? Did your parent or guardian accompany you? Were they in your space or monitoring the podcast? So again, I would tell the brother Mohammed Hijab, be very, very careful, because the video is still up. It's still up. Be very, very careful, okay? Because this person can maybe file some charges against you. I'm telling you, this guy had an inappropriate conversation with me. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. If they find one thing wrong, do you have a penis? I'm being dead serious. Wallahi. I'm being dead serious. You ask that boy, does he have a penis? We know it has a penis. Maybe, do you still have your male organs? I don't know if that won't get you in trouble. Very, very dangerous. These people cry wolf all the time. These are foxes that cry wolf. So protect yourself next time, or even protect yourself now. Maybe delete the video. It's up to you, Akhi. I know you're gonna get views. Last I checked, it was over 100,000 views on it. Over 100,000 views. Last I checked. So that was 3 hours ago. It was like over 100,000 views. So therefore, you're getting the views. Alhamdulillah, may Allah protect you. May Allah protect you. But you ask that little boy, according to their law, do you have a penis? I'm gonna tell you, and these laws are funny. In Texas, two dudes, a 70-year-old dude can have anal relations with a 17-year-old boy, with a 17-year-old young man, I should say. Okay, and it's legal. You can consent at 17, even to homosexuality. You can consent at 17. But if that 17-year-old man took a picture of the event, that picture can land him in jail for statutory rape. The laws of the kuffar. The laws of the kuffar. You can do the whole thing in 3D. You can do the whole thing in 4D, 5D. I don't know what you call it. I'm not technical. But you can do the whole thing, all up in that little boy, but you can't take a picture of the event. I'm going to save this picture, for when I go to hell, I have a picture to look at, So nevertheless, protect yourself, Yahi. And inshallah, protect your deen. Don't acquiesce. Don't acquiesce and, start to giggle and rib with them and, what have you, and I'm telling you for the sake from one brother to another. And I'm not going to inbox you. It was a public podcast, a public show. It is still online right now, so there's no need for me to personally contact you in any capacity. So may Allah Ta'ala guide us all. May Allah Ta'ala forgive me first and forgive you and you all, inshallah ta'ala. This has been Amu Yum Yum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.